in Cancer. This is how her instinctual emotional power gets warped into martyrdom and self-erasure. Abandons herself to take care of everyone else, believes her value lies in being needed, not being whole, gives until depletion, confused loved with sacrifice, silences her emotional truth to avoid guilt, rejection, or conflict, stays in toxic relationships because she fears being alone, carries ancestral trauma as her own, feels responsible for family pain, becomes the emotional sponge, absorbing others' moods without boundaries, feels ashamed for needing space, softness, or tenderness, identifies safety with control, tries to manage emotions to avoid feeling, disconnects from her sensuality to perform the good mother/daughter role, confuses intuition with anxiety, doesn't trust her own inner tides, romanticizes being rescued, or resents not being rescued. Can I just tell you, my North Node is in Cancer. This I relate to, even though this is a Lilith placement. I identify with this. This makes sense to me on my North Node placement. And so where I am now, though, is like really trying to become the whole opposite of all of those things. And wow, like what a gift, because the Cancer placement to actually be in this like reclamation time of feminine embodiment where we don't have to be angry. We're not being the first wave feminist, even though I'm sure other generations of women just didn't get the credit just because of the time, because of the technology to document it. But it's like we're really in this position where we're so evolved through consciousness that we can look back and say, okay, if this is actually deep psychology where we are trying to create meaning out of the actual womb to birth, to differentiating from mom, to the masculine identity that created the patriarchy, to now come back into wholeness. It's like, oh my gosh, you could be this fierce leader without self-sacrificing yourself. Like you don't have to lose your humanness of being a woman for the sake of whatever it is that you feel called to do. So the Lilith in Cancer, evolved priestess, wild woman expression. This is when she reclaims the wild sanctuary within herself and becomes the source of unconditional embodied love, right? Because that's what we want to have for ourselves. We want to be these things for ourselves, because then when we complete that gap energetically for ourselves, then that's when we're able to like really call in the opposite so that we have a polarized experience to have it be really incredible. And then also magnify this to actually create more of an unconditional embodied experience of the love frequency instead of fear and separation. So owns her emotional depth as sacred intelligence, feels her lineage move through her, and chooses which threads to weave forward. Yes. Practices radical self-nurturing as a spiritual devotion, creates safe spaces within and around her, rooted, sensual, soft, and sovereign, listens to her intuition as the voice of the divine feminine, feels safe feeling it all, rage, grief, pleasure, desire, sets fierce boundaries with tenderness and clarity, mother archetype rewilded, no longer over-functioning but fiercely present, nourishes herself without guilt, her love is not a transaction, channels wisdom through dreams, cycles, and body memory, feels her emotions in real time, does not abandon herself in overwhelm, heals ancestral patterns by refusing to repeat them, chooses to mother herself first. So I really love all of these. But one of the ones that I want to touch on is feels her emotions in real time. That's something that I have talked about of like why we're doing this type of work in the Fat Life: process, heal, align, transcend, because we're going to have emotions. And I think some of this like new age spirituality stuff, a lot of people feel like they're going to go to 5D and never be sad again. And it's like, no, 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 no. Like that's not what it is. We're still going to have emotions because emotions are how we measure a vibrational frequency. That's how we measure the experience. So we've got a ruler that measures things, but then we also have hertz that measures things. And there's vibrations and frequencies that we can't see. And when they get real low and slow, they become matter. And so if we really start to feel like emotions are this thing even though they're very powerful in a spiritual experience, once we can start to look at them as a thing that we are always going to have, that we need to stay present to so that we can interpret our surroundings and interpret the psychic energy that's coming into our experience, what psychic energy is actually being activated through our cells or through our menstrual blood. Like there's so many things that are going on. And the whole point of this work is so that you can be present to your emotions so that you don't eat them, or they don't cause you a flare because you didn't notice that something bothered you. And that was something that was really fascinating to me on my healing experience, that I was like, you when you're in chronic pain, it's so hard to function. And then it's like it's so hard to plan your life because you're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to have a flare. I might cancel. If I want to go somewhere far away and it's a long plane ride and my neck doesn't handle it, like how long of my vacation am I going to be in a flare? Like there's a lot of things that you think about of how it inhibits your life. And so to get to the bottom of chronic pain is a challenge. And one of the things that I realized was like, oh, okay. So you have to like make peace with your pain and you have to find value in it. You have to find that appreciation for it before you can really start to unpack it, right? And that's just energetic. We know that appreciation helps us create more. So there were times when I was like learning all of this stuff where I was like, okay, the pain is serving me. How is it serving me? I don't have to say no to hurt somebody's feelings. My pain says no for me. But then also, when I would think about it, I'd be like, what's going on in my life? And I would immediately get depressed when I was in pain. My mood would totally tank. And then I would be able to handle that in the moment of like, okay, it makes sense that I'm getting depressed while I'm in pain because it's a two-way signal. Your body, if your body doesn't feel good, it sends a signal to your brain, and then you make sense and a reason why you don't feel good. Or your thought you can just have a negative thought, and then that tells the body to not feel good. So sometimes after I got through that phase, then it was like, oh, what happened in my life in the last 7 days that now I'm in a flare? Oh, well, 3 days ago, such and such happened. And that was actually really shitty what happened. And I didn't even notice it at the time. I didn't even stick up for myself at the time. Oh, that's what upset me. And this is the energy buildup. And so this is going to be really cool for you to work through these emotions. And again, how we're working through these emotions is through the eating and the exercise, through the breath work too, of brain and heart coherency breathing. But as you're using the food and dieting to look at your feminine energy, you're going to be able to get more present to your emotions in real time so that no matter what it is that you're going through, you won't sabotage your body. You could take breaks. You could eat ice cream if ice cream is going to like just really hit the spot if you're sad, but you're not going to eat like 2 pints of ice cream, and you're not going to ghost workouts for 3 months, right? Like rest is different than sabotage. Comfort is different than sabotage. So this is going to be really exciting for you to grow into. And then Lilith would say, if she was repressed, if I stop nurturing, they'll stop loving me. The evolved is, my emotions are divine. I mother myself first. I love that.